Okay, so today we're starting chapter 5, which goes into more detail on writing equations. Today we're going to focus on slope-intercept form, which you already know. So what is an equation and how is it written in slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. If I'm writing, you're writing. Where the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Okay, excuse me, how do we find slope? There's two ways I taught you. How do you find slope? What's one way I taught you? How do you find slope of a graph? Look, if I said find the slope of this graph. Very good. So the first way you can find slope is rise over run. Does anybody remember the other way? It's a formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's the slope formula. Either one of these can be used to find the m piece. All right, I want you to look how easy the next example is. Use slope and y-intercept to write an equation when the slope is 12 and the y-intercept is 5. So how would I write that? Y equals 12x plus, because the 12 is the slope that's in the m's position, and the 5 is the y-intercept that's in the b position. All right, write the next one on your own. You should have written y equals 4x minus 3. What's another way you could have written that? 4x plus negative 3, which is the exact same thing. Yes? So either way would be correct. All right, so last chapter, they would give us the equation, and we would graph it. This chapter right now, they're giving us the picture, the graph, and we have to write the equation from it. Make sense? So to write an equation, you need an m and a what? And a b. All right, let's find the y-intercept first. Remember, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So where is this line crossing the y-axis at?
4.
At 4, right there. Positive 4. How do we find the slope? Rise over run. Yes, so I'm going to start at the lowest dot. I'm going to rise up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is positive because up is positive, yes. And I'm going to run left 1, 2, 3, and left is negative. All right, so there is my slope. Does that need to be simplified or is that in its simplest form? So now I write the equation. Y equals negative 4/3 x plus 4. Easy? Let's do the next one. I need an m and a b. What is the y-intercept? Where is this line crossing the y-axis? Negative 2, because it's below 0. For the slope, I need a rise over run, so I start here. What is the rise? 2. What is the run? Up and right is positive, so both of these are positive, yes? What does that simplify to?
2.
All right, so if I write the equation, I have y equals 2x minus 2, or how else could I have written that? Plus negative 2, very good. So now it's going to want us to graph some. It wants us to write an equation of the line given 2 points. So here we go. If they gave me these 2 points, How would I find the slope? Use the slope formula. So I need to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have negative 5 minus negative 1 over 0 minus 3. So my slope is, well, negative 5 minus negative 1 is negative 4. Could I just put that in my calculator? And 0 minus 3 is? And two negatives make a, so I have positive 4/3. That's my slope. So my M is 4/3. What's my B? Can you see it from this right here? Really? I see it. How do I know what it is? The y-intercept is the y value when x is, so isn't that the y-intercept right there? Why is that the y-intercept? Because it's going to touch the y-axis at negative 5. So my y-intercept is negative 5. So my equation is y equals 4/3 x minus 5. Okay, I wanted you to graph this. You could have graphed these points, 3, negative 1, 0, negative 5. And you'll also see that the slope is 4/3. You would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, right, 1, 2, 3. Do y'all see how that works? All right, try this next one on your own. You need a slope and a y-intercept. Okay, did everybody get y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2? Yes or no? Now comes the fun part. Are y'all ready? Now we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through the points, but this time they don't give us the y-intercept. Did everybody hear me? So everybody look at these 2 points. Are one of those points a y-intercept? No. How do I know? Because there's no x of 0. Yes? So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do right now. So what I want you to do in this corner over here is draw a little box with the directions. Step 1, to write an equation given 2 points, step 1, you're going to solve for the slope using the slope formula. You're going to solve for the slope with the slope formula. That is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Step 2, you're going to write your equation in y equals mx plus b form. Step 3, you're going to fill in the m. How do you fill in the m? Because we already solved for, yes, we're going to fill in the m with the slope. You're going to fill in the x and y with one of the coordinates. Step 4, you're going to solve for b, the y-intercept. And then I'm going to teach y'all a trick today, and you're not going to want to have to do it this long way, but you're going to have to learn how to do this. Step 5, check your answer in stat. So I'm going to teach y'all something really cool in the calculator today. Y'all are probably going to be mad at me that I haven't showed you this so far. This would have solved a lot of questions for you. But remember, you have to be able to do this by hand, right? Okay. I'm going to let y'all finish writing, and then we're going to learn to do it by hand. Make sure you have your calculator ready. All right, is everybody ready? What does step 1 say to do? All right, you guys are good at that. So label, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to solve for slope. So y2, 23, minus y1, which is 8. Don't write big because we need lots of room. Over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 2. I'm just going to stick that in my calculator all at once. So I'm going to go to alpha y equals and put in 23 minus 8 over 5 minus 2. What's the slope? I'm going to write that right here. The slope is 5. All right, what does step 2 say to do? Write the equation in y equals mx plus b form. So everybody write y equals mx plus b. What does step 3 say to do? We're going to fill in the m with the slope. We're also going to fill in the x and the y with a coordinate. Do we have 2 coordinates up here? You get to pick one. I always pick the smallest ones or the ones that are positive. So I'm just going to pick this one. So instead of writing y equals, I'm going to write, which one of these is the y? 8 equals. Instead of writing m, I'm going to write 5. Instead of writing x, I'm going to write, but it should be 5 times 2. And I don't know b, that's what I want to solve for. I want to solve for the y-intercept, yes? So I can't fill in the b, I'm going to solve for the b. All right, so I have 8 equals 5 times 2 is plus b. How would I get b by itself? Subtract 10. So what is 8 minus 10? Negative 2 is equal to b. So we solve for m, and we solve for b. What is b? Now can I write an equation? Y equals mx plus b. What's the m?
5.
X plus, what's the b? Done. What do y'all think? It's really not that hard. All you do is solve for slope. Use the equation y equals mx plus b to solve for the b now that you know the slope and you know an x value and a y value that you can plug in. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now's the time I'm going to teach y'all the trick, and y'all are all going to be mad at me. Are y'all ready? There is a button in your calculator called Stat that will solve for slope and y-intercept for you. So that whole test we did, it would have done most of the work for you. Y'all ready? Everybody go to Stat. It's right here under Delete. Y'all see it? Okay, you're going to choose option 1, Edit. You shouldn't have anything in your list right now. Does anybody have anything right there? No? So you're good. The L1 are your X values. The L2 are your Y values. You always need to put 2 coordinates. They're like coordinates, like a table. So our first X value was what? So put in 2 and hit enter. And then what's our next X value? And then hit enter. And then go to L2 and put in your Y values that match. So when X was 2, Y was 8. And when X was 5, Y was... Okay, so y'all see how it's like a table? Yes or no? Okay, I'm going to wait. Make sure everybody has that put in. Do I need to wait on anybody? Okay, now you're going to hit Stat again. And you want it to calculate the slope and y-intercept. So you're going to arrow over to Calc. And this is a linear equation. So which option would we choose? 4. Do y'all see where it says lin reg? So it's a linear regular equation in this form. Isn't that the form we're using? Why they put it A instead of an ilm, I have no idea. It's just the creator of the calculator. But it's mx plus b. So choose option 4 and simply hit enter until it gives you the answer.
Wait, what did we go?
Okay, so we went to Stat, Edit. We put in our stuff, yes? Now you go to Stat and go to Calc up at the top. And then choose option 4 and hit enter until it gives you the answer. Does everybody see what the slope is? What is it? What's the y-intercept? What do y'all think? No, you'll want to do it this way, I promise. Okay, so listen carefully. You will show your work and learn to do this by hand, but you will make 100 because the calculator is going to check your answer for you, yes? Let's do this example. So don't use the calculator right now. What is step 1? Find the slope. All right, here's x1, y1, x2, y2. Find the slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Put in your calculator and get the slope. What's the slope? Can I write that as a decimal? Okay, so my slope, my m, is negative 0.5. Now we're going to solve for the b, and to do that, we're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. So write y equals mx plus b. You're going to do this by plugging in a y value, an m value, and an x value, and solve for b. Y'all understand what we're doing? You get to choose, do you want to use this coordinate or this coordinate? I personally would choose the one with all the positives. Will I get the same answer no matter what? Yes, I will. I'm going to use this one. Are y'all good? So instead of writing y equals, what's the y value? 2 equals. Instead of writing m, I solve for m, and it is negative 0.5 times, what is the x value of the coordinate that I chose? 2 plus b. All right, is everybody okay with what we're doing? So I have 2 equals. What is half of 2? So negative 1. Because that's a negative times a positive, plus b. How do I solve for b? How do I get rid of negative 1? What's 2 plus 1? So B equals? All right, let's write our equation. Y equals, what's the M? X plus 3. Now we're going to go check our answer in stat. Now before y'all do it, I got to teach you how to clear out your stat. So everybody go to stat. Hit, what am I going to hit?
1.
Edit. Now, please everybody look at the screen. If you are up here in list 2 and you hit delete, your whole list will disappear. That's bad. You can't do it like that. You have to be on a number, and then you can hit delete, and it will delete that list. You have to go delete every single number. Make sense? Then go over to L1 and hit delete. Please don't delete up here. If you do, you're going to have to reset your calculator to get your list back. Does that make sense? Everybody understand? Did anybody delete their list already? Okay. Put in your X values for L1. So what's my X value? -4 and, all right. Now go to L2 and put in your Y values. Did you already do this? All right. 5 and 2. And make sure they match. -4 goes with 5, 2 goes with 2. Now where do I go? Stat again. We wanted to calculate our answer. Option 4 and hit enter until it gives you the answer. Is that what we got? Pretty cool? On the EOC, do you care if I think you just use this? I do not care. But I have to teach you how to do it by hand because I got to get y'all ready for geometry and algebra 2. Okay? All right. Y'all want to try this one on your own? Go. What's your first step? Solve for slope. Second step, write y equals mx plus b. Third step, plug in an x, a y, and an m. Okay, check your M real quick. Did everybody get the M for this? What was your M? -2. Very good. Okay. Now solve for the B by plugging in a Y, an M, and an X. Which coordinate did y'all choose? This one? That's the one I would choose too. So I have 9 equals -2 times 1 plus b. Yes? Did y'all get the correct answer? Did y'all get the correct answer? Okay, did you check it in stat? All right. I told you to do it by hand. That's literally the lesson. So if y'all get to where you won't do what I'm asking y'all to do, I'm going to stop teaching y'all the tricks in the calculator and we'll do them by hand the whole year. Okay? So when I'm telling you to learn something by hand, there's a reason. It's not me being mean. It's because you have to know how to do it by hand for Algebra 2. Okay? So you'll have to be able to do it by hand. So everybody try this one on your own by hand and then check it in stat. When you take your SATs, when you take your TSI, you don't get a calculator on the whole thing. So I have to teach y'all how to do it. Okay, what'd y'all get for the slope? Which one of these did y'all use? I used the first one too because they both had a negative and that one's just smaller numbers, right? So I said y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in a y coordinate, the m since I saw for it, and an x coordinate. So the y coordinate was 9 equals, the slope was negative 3 times the x coordinate plus b. 9 equals 15 plus b, yes? How would I get rid of 15? Minus 15. And what is 9 minus 15? So the b value is, so my equation, y equals negative 3x minus 6 or plus negative 6. Did y'all check it in stat? Does anybody want me to go over stat or do y'all feel like y'all understand how to use it? Does anybody want me to go over it? Okay, so we're going to go to stat. No, y'all please ask if you need help. You're going to go to edit, so option 1. Then you have to delete the numbers that are there by hitting a delete over them. Are we good? We're going to put in the x values for your list 1, so that would be negative 5 and 11. And then we're going to put in the y values for list 2, which would be 9 and negative 39. Are we good? Okay. Then you're going to go to stat again. Since we already put in a list, we don't need to edit. We just need to calculate the answer. So arrow over to calc. Choose option 4 because it's a linear equation in mx plus b form. And hit enter until you get the answer. The A is the slope because it's in the slope spot, and the B is the y-intercept. Are we good? All right, turn the page. All right, these two are easy because they give you the y-intercept. It says write an equation for the linear function with the values. Do y'all remember learning this with functions? All we need to write is our coordinates, yes? What's the x value here? 0. What's the y value? 5. All right, what's the x value here? What's the y value? Did they give you the y-intercept? How do you know? Because when x is 0, the number with it is the y-intercept. So all you need is a slope, an m, and a what? Do I already know the b? What is it? All right, to find slope, you use the slope formula. 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. 17 minus 5 is? Come on, guys, do some mental math. 17 minus 5 is? That's my rise. 4 minus 0 is? That's my run. What's 12 divided by 4? So my equation is y equals 3x plus 5. All right, let's do this one. Write your coordinates. 0, 3, and what? Good. We need an m and a... Did they give us the y-intercept? I love when they give me the y-intercept because I don't have to go solve for it. The y-intercept is 3. All right, y'all think we can do this mental math or do we need to do it in our calculator? What's 11 minus 3? Okay, what's negative 4 minus 0? What's 8 over negative 4? So y equals negative 2x plus 3. Try this last one on your own. Is it negative? Did y'all get the slope as negative 1/3? Okay. That one wasn't quite as easy to do mental math on, but you can always use your calculator to subtract those. All right, did everybody get it? All right, let's do the bottom part. In the slope-intercept formula, what is the slope-intercept formula? Y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope, which is also known as the rate of change. Y'all do all remember this. Slope is rate of change, yes? The b is the y-intercept or the starting value. So we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept formula. I've been doing this since 7th grade, so it should be easy. It says a recording studio charges musicians an initial fee. So is that the M or the B? All right, of $50 to record a song. Studio time costs an additional $35 per hour. You know that that's the slope because it has that clue word. It's a rate. It's a rate of change. So how would I write this? Y equals 35x plus 50. Can I use this equation to solve a question now? Yes, it says, how much would it cost for 10 hours of studio time? So all you have to do is plug 10 in, either for the X or the Y. So you've got to figure out, what are you plugging in for? How do you know? What does this say right here? $35 per, that means the X is the hours. So I would do 35 times 10 plus 50. And I just stick it in my calculator, get the answer, which is $400. So in this situation, the Y represented the what? What does this Y represent? What did I just solve for when I did all that?
How much money?
I did the total cost. So the y is the dependent variable, meaning it's dependent on how many hours you use the studio, right? And it is the total cost. What's the x? The x is independent, and it represented the hours. All right, try the next one on your own. What's your equation? Y equals? Why did the 25 get the x? Because it's per hour. All right, what are you going to plug in for 2? X or y?
X.
So 25 times 2 plus 20, and that is? I want you now to identify the dependent variable. Dependent's always the y, just so y'all know. That's your y. And I want you to identify the independent variable. What's the x? So tell me, what do those represent? Think about it and write it down. What did y represent? What were we solving for? The total cost. And what did the independent variable, the x, represent? The hours. All right, let me pass out y'all's assignment. Okay, put your name right when you get it. There's only 18 questions, so you'll do the whole thing. This whole paper is about writing equations in slope-intercept form. Yes? So at the top of your paper, I want you to write y equals mx plus b. Okay? Look at 1 through 3. Write an equation. So that's too easy, right? Are y'all good? 4 through 6. Write in. What do you need to write an equation? You need an m and a b. Then you have to write the equation. Don't leave your answer as m and b. Are we okay? 7 through 12. Write in. If they give you the y-intercept, do you have to solve for it? No. On a 7 and 8, did they give you the y-intercept? What do you need to write an equation? You need an m and a b. Can you check your answers in stat? Can you use a separate sheet of paper to show your work? Are you going to do them by hand? If you want to be successful in the future, you better learn to do them by hand. Okay? 13 through 15. Write an equation. Well, these are your coordinates, yes? 0, negative 1, 3, negative 10. What do you need to write an equation? An m and a b. Guys, your answer is not the m and the b. Your answer is your equation. Y equals 2x plus 3 or whatever. Are y'all okay? Then 16, 17, and 18 are just like the ones we did. Guys, they're super easy. Do not skip them. Each of them has 3 questions. So if you skip those, that's 3, 6, 9 questions you're going to miss. Look at A. Write an equation. That's super easy. Y equals, they give you 2 numbers. One's the m, one's the b. Yes? The number with the per, each, every, or and, that's your m, because that's your rate. Y'all feel okay? Get busy.